This is exactly what the Cowboys needed as major coaching rumors are heating up inside the Cowboys organization, with a new name rising to the top as Matt Eberflus likely out. Seems like we got a new name on top for who's likely in, according to NBC Sports Mike Florio. We're going to talk about it all today here on a Cowboys Digest. Welcome, everybody. I hope you're having a wonderful day. I'm Jace Andrews, and I want to remind you real quick before we get going to hit that subscribe button as we enter 2026. Got a lofty goal. We're about 650 away from 12,000 subscribers. Only 3 days left until the new year, but I got a challenge for Cowboys Nation. Can we get to 12,000 subscribers before the start of the new year? I trust in you. Help me out by go down there and hitting that subscribe button. It's 100% free to do so. The Dallas Cowboys this season have been, well, less than ideal. And while, again, these aren't the numbers as it stands right now, this was the story throughout the entirety of the year. The Cowboys offense was performing well. The Cowboys defense, not so much. Their ranks were really bad. Well, that of course trails back to one person, Matt Eberflus. Now, I'm not going to sit here and say that the defense is void of blame for all the players that didn't succeed, didn't perform, or didn't live up to expectations. But at the same time, the biggest problem that I have seen game in and game out is not that Trevon Diggs isn't playing every game. It's not that Quinnen Williams isn't getting a sack every single time. It's the fact that the scheme is just not right. The soft zones that Matt Eberflus continues to play, the way he defends teams that he knows, and it doesn't work. It just doesn't make sense to me, and there has to be a change made. Now, that likelihood has increased to me over the past couple of days for one specific reason, and it's this man right here, Jerry Jones. He has continuously talked a lot about this defense, saying, one, he's not happy with it, two, he has to see improvements here in the final 3 games, and then finally, 3, after this past week against Washington, he was excited about the win, said that on the radio. The next day, they asked him, what about the defense? And he said, I don't want to get you off guard. My reaction yesterday was specifically because of win. The defense still needs improvement. The defense still needs to be fixed. And in my opinion, the fix of the defense is very simple. Get rid of Matt Eberflus. And I've been saying this for almost 10 weeks now. I really did not like him from about 8 weeks into the season. In my opinion, as soon as that Denver Broncos game happened, the stage was set for Eberflus. I know the Cowboys don't fire coordinators in the middle of the season, but it was very much going to be like, okay, yeah, he's not going to be here past this season. Well, that's where today's new reports come in about an interesting guy who could be at the top of the list for Jerry Jones to go out and get. Here is the report, quote, Mike Florio on the Cowboys defensive coordinator saying, quote, and an increasing chatter in the league circles, the Cowboys will be firmly in play for Vikings defensive coordinator Brian Flores, end quote. Now, Brian Flores is a fantastic defensive coordinator, and to me, I think he would be a very good fit for the Dallas Cowboys. You see here again, Flores could be in line for a head coaching job after the season. If you don't know, his contract is coming to a close. It's kind of an interesting one because he signed a 3-year contract, kind of a bet on himself type thing. And now he's in the final year of his contract. Per a source with knowledge of the situation, the Vikings are currently working toward extending his deal, end quote. But again, he's going to be in line for higher paying jobs, i.e. the Cowboys potentially, or even head coaching jobs as well. And so that's where, does this make sense, first kind of be the biggest question. And I think it does. If you look at the Cowboys and the Vikings defensive ranks, total yards per game allowed, the Cowboys allowed 376.8 yards. That's 30th in the NFL. The Vikings, 292.7th. That's 6th in the league. Passing yards allowed per game, the Cowboys allowed over 253 yards per game. That is worst in the league. The Vikings, 168.8, that's 3rd in the league. Now, the running back points or the running back total yards wasn't that kind of different from each team, but the points per game was. The Cowboys allowed 29.8, which now officially is the worst in the NFL this season. The Vikings, meanwhile, allow 20.6, which is the 10th best in the NFL. So, the stage is set right there. Brian Flores is a fantastic coordinator. Matt Eberflus has been, in my opinion, a very big reason the Cowboys have not been able to succeed this season. Joseph Voigt, a very good writer and cover of the Dallas Cowboys, had this to say, quote, a thought, the Cowboys and Brian Flores. I think Jerry Jones trusts Brian Schottenheimer's opinion. I think Schotty, from experience, has great appreciation for what Brian Flores can do. If he didn't become a head coach, and if the Cowboys fire Matt Eberflus, it would make sense. Now, there's a couple of ifs in there. And the big one I want to talk about is if Flores can become a head coach. Because I don't see a world where Matt Eberflus is still the defensive coordinator for the Dallas Cowboys past, I want to say, January. I really do. I think this is going to be one of the quick ones. Black Monday is going to come, as we all know, and it's immediately going to be, okay, bye-bye Matt Eberflus. And Mike Florio of NBC Sports had some more to say on it. Let's go to some reports from him. Quote, "The Vikings were told and are keenly aware of the possibility, and while the Vikings should have exclusive rights to negotiations with Flores until his contract expires, we all know by now that tampering is a rampant in pro football as flopping mouthpieces that never seem to make their way into players' mouth." Now, this is such an interesting thing for me for a couple of different reasons. The first one is this. We know that in the NFL today, tampering is a huge thing. And the Cowboys could easily be in line and talking with Brian Flores right now. Of course, again, that could come with some harsh penalties. But at the same time, I think it's an interesting one. Now, we continue on with the report here, Mike Florio of NBC Sports, saying Jerry Jones loves to talk a big game, but will he put his money where his mouth is? He has a low-key reputation for being cheap. Rex Ryan claimed last year that he would have been hired instead of Mike Zimmer to be the defensive coordinator for the final years of the Mike McCarthy regime, but Jones couldn't pony up the money. I am intrigued by a couple of different things from that quote. Rex Ryan, I think, had no shot on the planet to become the Cowboys defense coordinator, so I don't believe that part. However, I don't disagree with the fact that sometimes Jerry Jones talks a big game, but ultimately will not pony up the money, and that's something to look at. And so I thought, okay, Brian Flores is on the end of a 3-year contract with the Vikings. It wasn't that high paying of a deal, and it's something that, again, was a bet-on-me contract. I'm going to go here, I'm going to prove myself, and I'm either going to get a job as a head coach or I'm going to get a job as a higher-paying defensive coordinator. So I looked, what exactly are the highest-paid defensive coordinators in today's game? Vic Fangio of the Philadelphia Eagles is getting $4.5 million. In my opinion, Vic Fangio is the best defensive coordinator in the NFL. No shock there. What's shocking, though, is that Matt Eberflus, again, coming from a head coach job, okay, whatever, he's getting paid $4 million to put that crap on the field. $4 million. Coach Spags of the Kansas City Chiefs, $3.5. Todd Bowles of the Buccaneers, $3 million. And Aiden Dirty of the Seattle Seahawks getting $2 million. What, to me, seems like the biggest key here in this, and in this picture, is that the Cowboys have the money. It's that the Cowboys can easily go out there and pay Brian Flores top-tier defensive coordinator money. The big thing and the big question is, will they do that? Will Flores not take a job in the NFL as a head coach? I think it's an interesting topic to discuss. We continue on here from Mike Florio's report of NBC Sports saying, quote, "Flores could be the winner either way. If Jones decides to give him true credits to his periodic claim about the size of the check he'd write to win a Super Bowl, he'll put real cash on the table, which could spark a bidding war for Flores between Dallas, Minnesota, and whoever else may decide to try to hire him," end quote. Here is my final opinion on all this. The Dallas Cowboys, if they go into a bidding war with anybody, should win every single time, especially when it's a coach, and a coach having this type of resume with the Minnesota Vikings. 5th lowest yards per play, 7 takeaways. They've never allowed fewer first downs than the Vikings. They're 6th in sacks. They're tied for 6th most in pressure. They're 3rd in fewest passing rush, 5th fewest in rushing attempts, and 24th in opponent passer rating. All of these stats are credited to how good Brian Flores is. But at the end of the day, for Jerry Jones and for the Dallas Cowboys, a bidding war you should win. Will that happen? I don't know. Will he take a head coaching job that you can't outbid? Potentially. But if it comes down to it where he's not looking for a head coaching job and you have the opportunity to get him, you should. You are the Dallas Cowboys, and you have a chance to make the right moves this offseason and be in a very good spot next season to not just make the playoffs, but make a run. I ask you the question today, do you want the Cowboys to have Brian Flores as their next defensive coordinator? Then I want you to type Y for yes if you think so. If you do not want Flores, then type in for no. Let me know in the comment section, do you want the Cowboys to hire Brian Flores? Y for yes, in for no. You already know my opinion. I think if Flores is available, he's the best option. He is. There's other guys out there, I understand, but to me, he's the best option. It's the reason I felt it was important to make this video. It's the reason I felt that there was a good report put out by Flores. Final year in his contract, Cowboys are paying a lot of money to Eberflus. That is not going to stick. And hopefully, the Cowboys are able to land at least somebody. Because if it's Matt Eberflus, I don't know what I'll do next season. We appreciate you watching. Hope you have a great rest of your day. Happy Monday to everybody. And for now, guys, peace out.